Good afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to your Facebook page, look us up, or hit see first to see, hear, and all the great programs that we have here on WNHHLP. Just a reminder, Cannabis Corner is also streaming live on the Greenhaven Media Facebook and YouTube pages, and also procannabismedia.com. Good afternoon. It is Monday, November 11th, 2024. It is Veterans Day. So a big shout out to all the veterans out there. Thank you so much for your service. So Veterans Day today. Welcome to Cannabis Corner. I am your host, Joe the Weed Guy, Joe LaChance. And it looks like I am joined here this week with my co-host this week, Classic Kristen Souza, in a different location this week. How are you, Kristen?
I am good. I know, new scenery for the internet, but I am good. It was a busy week, but not a bad thing.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you do anything good this weekend?
I did not. I ended up skipping the Harvest Cup. I know a lot of people went up there, but I just had so much stuff to do down here that I really felt it was better if I stayed down here and took care of some business that I needed to handle here.
Yeah.
And it was better off for me. I actually made some money. So
there you go. I didn't make it up either. I knew I wasn't going to be able to. I had some family stuff on Saturday, but spent the day Saturday in Massachusetts. It was cold, but it was a nice day out. And then Friday, just grabbed some lunch with a few girlfriends that I know from, locally. And so it was very low key, but fun.
Well, that's good.
Now I'm home with the kiddo.
I guess everybody's recovering. We got Veterans Day here. We had a big week last week. I'm glad it's over. I think we should all just move on and remember that most of the things that we imagine in our head, this is a fact, 85% of the things that we imagine in our head never actually happen. And this is a psychological fact. So I want everybody to remember that right now. It is November the 11th. You have 2 months. Chill. And that's it. Just chill. And don't worry about anything. Lou, there you are.
Worry, and I'm not going to forget, but I hear you.
We got him go on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got up for work the next day. Everybody went to their jobs. This is it. Life goes on. And remember, you've already had 4 years of this, and we survived it. And me, as an old man, we survived Richard Nixon, which was hell on earth. So,
no, we were talking about this. So to keep it,
he said Nixon.
Hey, Lou. I think regardless of which bubble we filled, we're all feeling some kind of way. So the best thing to do is just advocate for and support causes that you believe in, whatever those may be.
This is what I say to people, right?
Volunteer,
as activists,
I do that.
As activists, okay, we all know that if you want change, you got to go out and make the change. You can't sit on the internet and cry and this and that. You got to organize and do things. So if you see things that you don't like and you want to change them, this is what happened in the 60s. Remember what happened with Richard Nixon? Okay. Remember who was president when all that stuff happened. So
fair enough.
You never know. So that's all.
All right, I'm the doom and gloom. I'm like the storm cloud about
that
this
was
today,
good,
so I'm behaving.
So that was all good stuff, though.
Yeah.
Let's say it changed society. So it can always happen again. Just be positive, think positive, and realize that you can be the change. It has nothing to do with who's in power or the environment around you. You can be the change. Anyway,
Joe, I'll take it one step further just to also give Kristen some space as well, and you, and for everybody. The presidential election is the very top of the chain. Vote locally, activate locally, policy locally. The things that you do in your local community trickle up as well as really do affect you, your business, your activism, your community. You know, we complain about what's going on in Connecticut, and those have to do with specifically the Connecticut politicians, the Connecticut policy, and we can activate and do things on this level in the local space.
Yeah. As we proved. Hey, look,
Yes.
we've all been involved in local politics. And we've all made change.
Well, there's some
We've all
states
been
that
involved
even
in
out-
huge change in the state of Connecticut.
right.
So we have proven it.
Even so, our radio show alone might not be allowed in other states. You know what I mean? There's still places where we wouldn't
wouldn't
able
even be
to do
on the
this.
air. You're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
So, you know, just like Kristen advocates throughout the year, not just during these voting times, you know, do your local due diligence.
Right. Yeah, and that's the important part. Start locally and then it will grow. Start with your own local
Yeah.
community. And that's it. And you know, right now we're coming up on some holidays, so let's all, you know, take the next 2 months and enjoy it. Just
As we
let's
should.
enjoy it. As we should.
You know, and if,
One day at a time.
you know what, I'll throw this one out there. If you are happy with the way the elections went, congratulations. But for the next 2 months, if you're a cannabis loving person, if you're upset with what happened at the election, but for the next 2 months, as a cannabis loving person, everybody should be pushing the current president to expunge some records. The Last Prisoner Project still has
Right.
the program going to hold Biden accountable for his inaugural promises to free cannabis prisoners. So now we are in the home stretch, and we should be pressuring our current government with, you know, Vice President Harris to act on what they can act on. Even, you know, she made a ton of she put a ton of promises that if she became president, she would legalize cannabis. You know, so as vice president, why don't she, you know, we'll call them out and do what they promised to let go of cannabis prisoners and just make it happen. It's not a negative towards anybody, but while whoever's in office, hopefully any of those individuals can do just that. Start
And let's just
pardoning,
take the fight to the next administration.
and then we
If they
take the
don't
fight to
do
the
it,
next administration.
and let's push these guys to legalize, decrim. Let's
Right.
go. You know, you got progressives on there, Elon Musk, you got Robert F. Kennedy. All
I'm
these
talking
people are
right now,
progressive
Biden
weed
probably-
people.
Biden promised it. Let's
they're
hold them
like-
accountable.
Yeah, let's hold them accountable. Let's push them.
And
They're
so,
right.
shout out to the Last Prisoner Project because they do have that big push going on actively. They have been for the last couple months. Our good friend Jason Ortiz has really been pushing it. So, you know, activate. If you're
Activate.
an activist, not
Activate.
an activist, activate.
That's
So-
the bottom line.
That's that. You know, happy Veterans Day. My brother is a veteran of the Army, so we give him a shout out. Our good friends are veterans. Big shout out to Lou Pino, Gene Traders, who was a very active member as well. You know, I don't know if you guys shouted out any of your other veteran friends, but Ellen
Oh,
Brown,
Paul from
Paul.
Dab and Dad.
Paul from
Jim-
Dab and Dad. Let's make sure he gets his flowers as well.
You know,
Jim
Paul from Bearded
Preston.
Wood as well.
That's
Paul
right.
from, that's right. Jim Preston from A Cupcake for Later, great veteran, cannabis supporter.
Yep.
Anyone, our guest today is a veteran. We'll talk
There
to
you
him
go.
about that in a little bit.
So, and then shout out to the Marine Corps for their birthday as well.
That's right. That's right. It's an important day. You know, 11/11 too. Very significant day if you're into the spiritual stuff. But
Yeah, this is Cannabis Corner. Of course, we're into the spiritual stuff.
11/11. So, speaking of that, Kristen, do we have any things coming up as far as events?
As far as events, you know, I feel like I'm either missing things or, like we were saying last week, I think things are kind of winding down a little bit just with cold weather and holidays and stuff coming up. So one that I was going to mention, the Connecticut Cannabis Small Business Alliance has its community meeting on the Thursday, the 14th. So the Zoom link is available on the website. It'll also be posted up on their Instagram, CT Cannabis Alliance. But check
Okay.
that out. It's an open invitation. You do not need to be a paid member to attend. And we'll just talk about some, you know, things going on in the state, you know, with legislative session coming up in February. While it feels like that's pretty far away, February 7th will be right around the corner and kind of full circle in order to activate and get out there and be in front of our local representatives. You need to start a little earlier than February 7th. So I'm sure we'll be talking about some things about that, but definitely log into the call. meet some of the other members, board members, and just get a feel for, what we're planning on doing for the rest of 2024 and into next year.
Yeah.
What else do I have? I really don't have a lot. What do you
I
guys?
have a few.
Joe's got a couple. I know that I've been introduced to this new group that's doing events, and the last event was Art and Soul. Well, I think that's coming up. I don't have all the information completely in front of me, but they're operating out of like Meriden and Bridgeport, and what they're doing is ancillary style events, which is just mixing the culture of art and soul, which is sneakers. So sneakerheads.
Oh, I've seen that. I saw that.
Sneakers and cannabis and art. So it's really interesting to see where there's tons of intersections. They also do an event with a local restaurant, a Latino based Spanish restaurant, so like Dominican and Puerto Rican food, Caribbean Latino restaurant, where they're just connecting art and crafts individuals, where there's an outside patio where they do allow cannabis. So once again, the really cool events that aren't cannabis centric, but they allow consumption as part of the gathering, so it's a cultural subculture and our anti-subculture community, so this was a new group that I've been introduced to, and I wanted to make sure to start plugging them in and connecting them in with us, support other local Latinos starting businesses. They're a nice little couple.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. I got some events.
Let me
let's
throw
go.
one real quick because I remembered. Kibra
Nice.
posted this morning. So old co-host Kibra, she is doing her soft opening for Lit New Haven. So the official grand opening is happening later, but her soft opening is actually today in collaboration with Veterans Day. I saw her post that this morning. So check out Kibra, Lit New Haven. And she did say that folks that have applied for jobs, they will be hearing shortly, likely early December. So shout out to that. I know it's been a long road for everyone. So that was a cool update I saw.
So stop down and give Kibra some support, guys.
All right,
I'm done.
Okay. I have some events. All right. First of all, this Thursday night, I am hosting an event. This is not a cannabis event, but it is an event for a book release that I am working on. It is down at the Grove, which is my old stomping grounds, our old stomping grounds. We used to hold a lot of events down there. It's just Thursday at 6 p.m. It is a book release party for the 7 Secrets of Psychotherapy. And for those of you who don't know, I've been working with this author. I host a podcast with him, so you can check that out. But yeah, that is this Thursday at 6. I hope anybody from the cannabis community can come down. It is consumption friendly, of course. And that should be a good time. So that's down at the Grove this Thursday night at 6 p.m. I will be the host of that.
There you go. I love it, Joe. And please make sure to reach out to me. I would love to join you and support you in that endeavor. So I will definitely be there with you.
We are definitely doing some good work down there.
Good.
All right. And also this Thursday night down at Better Ways, they are doing a medicated Mod Podge paint night. Now, I remember Mod Podge from the 70s as like an old school art thing. So this should be kind of fun. It's interesting. It's an interesting type of artwork thing, but that's going to be this Thursday down at Better Ways in Brantford. You could check them out. And also this Saturday down at the Grove again, they are doing a puff, paint, and meditate. That is this Saturday, the 16th, down at the Grove. So we got some painting going on. If you want to get your artwork ready, got a couple paint events coming up this week. And also now this November the 24th is a big day for me, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It is my birthday.
Yes, sir.
There are a couple of different events going on.
They're all celebrating you.
They'll all be celebrating me either virtually or in person. One is at the Burn and Learn Center, which is in North Brantford from 12 to 4 p.m. That is the official birthday celebration. It is a Thanksgiving potluck. It's free admission. All you got to do is bring some food or bring some, whatever. Mm-hmm. Bring some treats for the bounty, for the feast. And then come hang out. We'll celebrate my birthday. We'll do cake. We'll have a good time. Creamery Kid is going to be coming down there and playing. So that's going to be in North Brantford, 12 to 4 on November 24th. Yes, I am turning 65 years old.
Years young, brother. Years
young.
Yes.
There you go.
Now, on the same day, Connecticut, the Jacket Club, the Secret Society is holding an event from 2 to 6. So the parties kind of overlap. You could go to both. I'm hoping you to go to both, but what I'd love to do is see the two parties combined, but that's really up to the organizers, not me. I am just an invited guest at this celebration. So I'm looking forward to it. Either way, November 24th, a big feast day, 2 Thanksgivings going on in the cannabis community. I hope you can come down, celebrate my birthday with me. I would love it. It's going to be a great day. So that's the other event, November 24th. And that's what I got.
Love it, Joe. We're going to make sure that day is going to be a beautiful, fun day.
Well, I didn't think I'd make it that far. I'm going to be honest.
We've
really
had that conversation a lot, Joe, and and I guess, not to piggyback off what you're saying, Joe, and I hope you can kind of co-sign this. You and I have had a ton of conversations about life, longevity, habits, the past, and things that we have grown from as individuals, incarcerations, arrests, past unspeakable habits that we are all individuals that, our past doesn't define us. And we hope other people can understand that we don't judge anybody by their paths because we all have them. And we just want you to know that everybody's loved and accepted in all the spaces that at least Joe, I, and Kristen are sitting in. To have you reach 65 is a testament to the individual that you are and the friend that you are and the spiritual leader in our community that you are, brother. And it gives younger guys, and I'm not that young, I'm 40, you know what I mean? So I'm in that middle age range. So it gives some of us some hope, and a little light at the end of our towers when our days are the darkest that they are. And you've always been, comic relief in the sense when I feel horrible and I don't know what's happening. And you're like, hey, I made it this far, you can't too. So,
thank you, Lou. I appreciate it.
Those 25-year-old guys and gals who think they can't make it. Hey, Uncle Lou made it this far, and Big Brother Joe is trucking along. So we're here
with many more years ahead.
And the way you feel, the way you look at me, and you say, "Wow, if he can do it, I can do it." I look at 75-year-olds and 80-year-olds and go, "Wow, I can." You know what I mean? So they're an inspiration to me. So it works up that way. But
we love our old hippies.
Yeah, hey man, you got to stay an old hippie. I think we're getting ready to go back there.
All right.
We got our guest here.
I'm good.
Our guest here has been patiently waiting, but right here with us. Hang on one second.
Let's go, Joe.
I know. I
love it.
We have Chuck. We have Chuck Alkier, and he is from the Dab Hut. And so, that's great. Hold on one second.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Chuck, how are you?
Good.
Come on in. I lost my bio here, so I just wanted to give you a proper introduction.
Sure.
The computer kind of has changed off the screen for me. But anyway, discover the difference at the Dab Hut, where passion meets purpose. Owned and operated by veterans, our company is committed to providing exceptional service and value to our customers. With a focus on innovation and community, we're not just selling products, we're building relationships that last. At the Dab Hut, we live by customer-centric philosophy that drives everything we do. Our goal is to eliminate any barriers or frustrations in your dabbing or vaporizer journey, providing a seamless and enjoyable experience from start to finish. With our unwavering commitment to delivering exceptional value and service, we're here to make your satisfaction our top priority. There we go, Chuck. All right, welcome, Chuck Alkier from the Dab Hut. How are you today? I love your background. I have the same one. I use it when I go on other podcasts.
Yeah, I'm doing good. A good Veterans Day. I took a little time I did a little bit of a flash sale offering some deals to all veterans as well as those who aren't, just to try out some of my products today. So Pretty happy to be able to offer something like that finally after all these years of taking advantage of discounts that different vendors used to offer and
Oh, that makes
still
sense.
do offer. I'm glad that I can give back a little bit as well to the community.
Yeah, it's nice to be a veteran to be able to offer a veteran's discount. That's very nice. Yeah, that's very cool.
Absolutely.
That's very, very cool. Well, thank you for your service.
Huh.
And of course, happy Veterans Day. Enjoy your day, celebrate yourself, celebrate the other veterans out there. So tell us a little bit about, you guys are located out in Michigan, right?
Yeah. So we're in southern Michigan. When we service the Michigan market as far as dispensaries, vape shops, smoke shops, that sort of ancillary business type. But also, we're regionally based. Illinois is really close to us, Ohio, Indiana, and so all of those states kind of can benefit from the things that we offer, like our dab bars, educational services. All of the different things that kind of tie together the consumption aspect with the, purchasing aspect of whatever product it is, whether it's flower, concentrates, vape carts. I've kind of got an experience in all of those different consumption methods. So generally speaking, I'm just trying to further the way that people experience cannabis. I've generally tried to find the best ways to consume over the years. Everybody kind of has their own preferences, and I've also tried everything under the sun, and ultimately, came up with this business as a result of all those, trial and errors, R&D, and just general, trying everything that I've got. Everything available to me from different industries, the nicotine industry, tobacco industry, offers a lot of different heaters, and merging those things together to provide, a really good, dabbing experience, or in the case of flower, drier vaping experience.
So you basically are a consumption lounge, and also
No,
you're not. Okay.
No. So we'd love to.
Because I see you have a dab bar.
Yeah. So the dab bar is a mobile dab bar. So this is where I can set up in an event, whether it be in the state of Michigan or the state of Illinois, or if somebody hires me for another state elsewhere, just to offer all of my devices, my educational experience, just the knowledge base that I provide for the consumption process, along with, providing that top tier experience for, if it's a vendor that sells flower, or if it's a vendor that sells rosin or some other form of extract, making sure you get the best flavor, the best extraction out of those things, so that you're getting, all of the terpenes and not overburning them, and, all of the different things that really provide, I would say, the holistic experience for the plant.
Right. So now you're in Michigan. Michigan is fully legal, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, because of the Midwest area and the way it's situated, you also can service other states. What is the legal status of the other states surrounding you, and how do you get around that?
Yeah, so Michigan obviously is fully legal. It's one of the, I would say, top two right now, as far as amount of sales and revenue figures coming out of the state. Illinois also has a fairly robust industry, maybe 1.5 billion or so, and they generally speaking, connoisseurs and budget-minded folks, they're traveling to Michigan. They're traveling to the nearest city on the border. They have to actually drive through Indiana to get there, and it's the city of New Buffalo. I'm calling it the weed capital of the Midwest. Right now, it's going to have 30 plus dispensaries, all licensed sometime next year. By sometime next year. Currently, roughly about 10 active, and they're selling the most per store right now. They're on the corner, so.
So they're like between 3 states.
So it's really like, it's the lake. So if you know Lake Michigan, the bottom southern tip of Lake Michigan, there's 3 states there located right there. Illinois,
Right.
Indiana, and Michigan.
Yeah.
And as soon as you cross the border into Michigan, there's a town called New Buffalo, and that's either from Indiana, so you have to travel through Indiana to get to the city. But that is the place.
Sure.
Where, there are probably stores doing 3-4 million a month in sales out of some of these locations, with thousands and thousands of customers served daily.
Right.
And and Ohio's a bit different. They just went online on their legalization effort, and it's still slowly, supply and demand is slowly seeing a little bit of pullback from the border towns near Ohio, like Monroe, and a few other locations over there. I can't recall the other ones. I don't generally spend too much time on that side of the state, but Ohio is going to be a growing market, but they still generally come right up to Michigan if they want better quality or more.
Yeah, we have a similar situation
more
here.
quantity. Yeah, Massachusetts, right?
Right. We have a similar, even though we have it here, it's better there.
Yeah. And then Indiana is all smoke shops,
Right.
THCA and Delta 8 type
yeah.
of stuff. But Michigan it's people are traveling from Alabama and from Louisiana and all parts of the country to come there and purchase. Even with Missouri coming online, it didn't take that much of Michigan's market. Same thing with Illinois expanding. Same thing with Ohio. Michigan just seems built for that. I don't know, long term. Whether it's good for the companies involved, cultivating and retailing, probably not. But long term, I think it'll shake itself out.
Yeah, they have a very robust market up there. I'm trying to remember now. Is it mostly large corporations, MSOs, or have they? I know in the beginning there was a lot of battles.
Yeah,
there
early on there were more MSOs involved, and they've all since pulled out. Curaleaf, they pulled out. I think one of the earlier ones to pull out of there. I think Ascend is still operating. Gage is still operating, but most of these stores aren't doing well. It's really very, very location based. So the closer you are to the borders of Wisconsin, of Illinois and Indiana and Ohio, you're going to have more traffic there. And the centers of the state are the ones that are kind of dying on the vine.
They're suffering.
Time. Yeah, much harder time selling through their inventory. So it's a unique market, though. I mean, I think it's kind of got a little bit of everything for anyone, whether you're a connoisseur or not. And it even has a pretty robust underground black market that is still active, doing events and having all sorts of. I mean, I don't know if it rivals the traditional market or the legal market in the state, but it's probably close. It's a fairly big industry.
Well, that's where the culture is, and those things. And you have home grow there, right, in Michigan, correct?
Yeah, Michigan's got one of the better state laws for that. 12 plants per adult, up to 24 per household, I believe, max. And then if you're a medical patient, that becomes 12 as well. And then you can be a caregiver for other people. So there's a lot of ability for you to produce your own medicine, and but they've limited some of the things like solvent-based extraction. So your BHOs and propane extractions, you can't do those as a caregiver. You really have to stick to the solvent list, which is fine. I think that.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably for safety reasons, that's a good thing.
Remember, we used to have people blowing themselves up back in the day. So I mean, I think you're better off.
Yeah, I think we're better off on that. And generally speaking, I think the solventless product it's a better product for the craft person anyway to make.
Yeah,
less room for error, at least for butane inhalation and sickness.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. It's a little bit more healthy to do the solvent. So let's stick with that. And I think it does give a better product anyway. We have it. Yeah. The technology has advanced, so let's use it. But there's a place for everything, I'm suppose, in the market. So that's what kind of makes the culture and the craft, gray market survive is home grow. I think any market that has home grow is going to have a thriving craft market as well,
You
which I
know,
think is fine.
Yeah.
we have some home grow. It's half of what you guys have, but at the same time, man, I love Michigan. Man, I have enjoyed every visit to Michigan I have ever had. I have enjoyed the amazing flower that has come out of Michigan. I have you guys have dialed in solventless as a whole, like nobody can imagine, because the solventless that comes out of Michigan is some fire. Like, as you learn
that's
regionally.
right.
Yeah, I've taken a couple trips out to Michigan. In all manner of the world. So before the legal side of things, that was one of my normal smuggler runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, shout out to Lupino for really going out to that market
Yeah,
early.
Gene Traders. Yeah,
A lot of Gene Traders gene strains are in dispensaries out in Michigan.
So it was a good time.
What strains does he run? I'm not as familiar with his specific strains that he runs, but I might know some of
What
them.
was one that we saw that he was running that was pretty good?
Well, a lot of them come from people that are out there, not to take credit from anybody out there, but that pure Michigan, when you get it right from the breeders, that is so fire that then it's crossed with so many really awesome things that really put out some super fires. That pure Michigan has won a ton of great things from some of those guys out there, and I'm always up to trying something new. I'm not a breeder, but I will run whatever you guys put out there to get. And I think that the solventless law has really pushed people to create strains that wash really, really well.
Yeah.
I have not seen flower, and this is where I was going to try to move into that regional. So to give regional individuals their flowers, people, I don't want to be rude and say some of the more uneducated individuals that just say, oh, Cali weed is the best weed. I'm like, wait a second. Hold up. Have you seen some of the things coming out of Ohio? Have you seen some of the things coming out of Michigan? Have you seen some of the things out of Maine or, what I mean? Regionally, people have really dialed in their, so I have to give Michigan.
I used to be an underground grower myself. I've got a history, unfortunately, again, got caught up with law. And, at the same time, I learned a lot. And that's where a lot of the industry still is in a lot of ways. A lot of the breeders still operate that way. They're still doing it on a large scale, but they still have that mindset. And that knowledge base, it's hard to pass along to people who don't care as much, because a lot of people are just consumers. They don't care about the, how to produce the product or how the sausage is made, so to speak. But I've always cared about that process. And so as far as, washing and breeding and growing, I mean, those are things I wish I could do more often. It's just, unfortunately, I actually have a Michigan-based company, but live in Indiana, so I can't.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I live, a couple miles across the border, and so I can't grow. I can't wash my own strains. And it's sad. Wow. It hurts. It really, really hurts not being able to do that. And just watching the industry take fold, and people, pheno hunting and doing things that I wish I could be doing right now.
Yeah, Indiana's a tough place. My ex-wife's father lives in Bloomington. I spent some time out in Bloomington, and I was they really treated me like crap. I was I was as the Latino guy. As the Latino guy, they really, and this was 10 years ago, they really treated me like the Latino guy, which was totally okay. And then I had my history with the cops, so now it's even harder to find work out there. And it was just a very, 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 very small community. with and that's what happens and that's in every state. But Indiana, the cannabis laws were rough, and everybody was terrified of weed.
They are. I live in one of the few blue counties in the state.
Right.
And so, fortunately, at the time, I had a really good judge who saw my military history and basically gave me a nice slap on the wrist, probation for a couple years. I was able to get that record off and expunged.
Bless you.
And so it's no longer part of my history, but I mean, it's still
it's part of your history.
It's part of my history, but it's not part of my legal history. But I'll talk about it openly. I'm not ashamed by any means.
Right.
I thought I did great work, and had I been able to continue that, I'd be in a different place doing something else right now, probably. But I'm here doing what I love and being a part of the industry in some capacity, and helping people, consume in a better way.
Yeah. So how did you get into the cannabis industry coming out of the military? I mean, obviously you can't use cannabis in the military.
Yeah. So,
what brought you into this, into the cannabis space and to where you're at now?
Yeah, my last tour overseas, I just became obsessed with, I wanted to be a homeowner and I wanted to grow my own weed. I said, I'm getting out. I want to grow my own. I want to do this myself. I had a little bit of a taste of growing it at a home while I was in the military. I had a buddy who was like, hey, you got this house. Can I grow some weed here? And you can help me and I'll teach you some things. And so that first experience just got me really interested in it. And it took actually about 3 or 4 years before I was able to get my own home. It was when I came home from Iraq the second time. Bought a home and immediately just got into the basement, started tearing into it, built a nice room. Really, I would say high end for the time, 2010, really well sealed, like a lab grade room in my basement. I made sure I had really great air quality and all the great things that, you would want to have in a commercial facility, really. And I just did that for a couple years. I got in trouble, unfortunately, but it never went away. It's always something that I've loved so much about. So, I was on probation a couple years. I couldn't.
How did they get you? Just out of curiosity, was it, the electricity bill or what?
Yeah, it was tying a lot of those things together. I mean, that was one of them. Hard to deny a $400 or $500 electricity bill and a house in a small house, not that small, but generally speaking, a house that size, right. Electricity bill, and the smell. I wasn't aware of the smell. I had a bad filter. I had originally designed my room without issues for smell, and then I changed lighting. And when I changed lighting, I didn't think about it at the time, but I didn't have enough capacity for the light cooling and the extraction of lighting.
Okay.
So I ended up having some smells that entered the neighborhood.
There you go. Somebody smelled it. Yeah.
So I'll throw this out there.
Went through my trash,
Yeah, so the trash is what they got me on.
Yeah.
So I put my trash out and they collected enough weeks worth of garbage and went through enough weeks of my garbage that they built their case around what was in my garbage bag. After that, I never threw anything out ever again. I ended up with like a trash bag in my backyard in my closet someplace that was like, if this looks like it might get me in trouble, I saved it and never went into my garbage. Even now, and it changes what you do.
I used to take everything to a public dumpster like once a week.
About it. Yeah, and you know what? I knew about that. That's how they did it, and I always threw it away elsewhere. And that was the one and first time I got complacent. But whatever. I think
you learn.
Yeah, I learned. I'm better off for it in the end.
I agree.
Well, it brought you here, right?
Yeah, Joe and I both have backgrounds.
Yeah.
So we, one of the things we want to do is not necessarily highlight and glorify the past, but more we learn from our lessons. As our listeners listen, don't put yourself in situations that might hem you up. A lot of us have gone through it, and it forced us into a different path where now we have legal businesses that operate legally, that we, not necessarily glorify our past, but use it as part of our experiences.
Yeah.
And we want to, and that's a lot of the reason why we have to be in the lanes that we have. I'm a legal cannabis operator now that went through all the issues and troubles and costs and headaches and everything else. And, had I not gotten in trouble, who knows? I probably would not have looked to go the legal realm, and go, it's so much easier to continue doing a lot of those things. And maybe for you as well, where you literally had to start a business in a whole other state, which has so many hurdles, so many implications. You have to do a multi-state operator basically in your business, moving your bar, what is it, a trailer, or you bring everything out?
I just bring it in a car, packed it to the brim, or a truck.
Yep. And so you're doing this in multiple states to help people have a higher end event, sharing your knowledge, sharing your logistical knowledge on top of it, putting that cash up front to get all those really cool, nifty items that you bring. You probably bring some really cool bongs, sanitation, really cool vaporizers, bring out all the extra stuff, extra CBD to help bring you down from things, the education that knows that you can go up and you can come down and you can go up and you can come down. So that comes with that knowledge. And, without our past, we won't be where we are today.
No.
You got a lot of great stuff on here. So
this is beautiful, man. This website is awesome.
So that experience kind of brought you to this, right? A more ancillary business.
Yeah, I had tried. I initially was trying to buy out or buy into a retailer / cultivator who there was a cultivator who was going into becoming a retailer, a micro business, and they wanted to do a consumption lounge and all the things that I wanted to do, and we were trying to make a deal. It didn't end up working out, but I had created this idea while I was doing this because I wanted to integrate this idea into the store concept, and so that way I'd have a really good vape shop inside of the dispensary, and that's the foundation for really the consumption lounge concept that I'd like to eventually get to.
Is the law? What are the laws there?
They are very open and very favorable for that.
That's good.
Yeah, so I mean, I could absolutely just, within zoning laws, buy a location, get a license, put the all of the requirements in place for the lounge, and I could have this in place. A try before you buy, vape lounge / consumption lounge.
Yeah, that would be
free. But that, and it would probably be combustion free too, because primarily, I don't sell anything that's combustion based. This is all vaporizing.
Right, this is all vape.
And really, the highlight of, I would say the highlight of both the concentrate side and the dry herb side, and looks like you're in the dry herb side now. The Ruby Twist ball vape and the wireless one hit wonder ball vape. Those are unique entrants. Very unique entrance into the vaporizer space.
Let's get to one of them.
So if you're
the
familiar,
Ruby Twist, okay.
Yeah, if you're familiar with like the Volcano, which most people are, a very well-known name, or several other desktop style vaporizers that are similar to the Volcano, it's not like that. I hesitate to say, oh, it's like that, because it's not. It's nothing at all like it. Look at that. Yeah, it's much stronger. So what you're looking at is an e-nail there. An e-nail wrapped around a metal, titanium metal, that has ruby gems inside of it.
Wow.
And the ruby gems aren't real ruby gems. They are synthetic ruby gems called corundum. And,
okay.
But equally as far as functionality, and so really all you do is you fill your bowl up. You see that little bowl there. I should have brought something to demo. But you fill your bowl up there, and you literally place that head over the top of it, and it'll be dialed into whatever temperature you prefer.
Oh, okay, okay.
And it's an immediate bong rip. So it'll completely extract all of your flower in 1 or 2 hits.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
You don't combust it, but it feels like combusting more. So it's got that throat feel that you're used to when you're smoking a joint or taking a bong hit or a bowl hit. but it's very smooth. And what I call it is really more like dabbing flower. It's far more flavorful than any other dry herb vaporizer experience you're going to get, especially for the intense vapor.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a new method. It's primarily convection and conduction. The convection comes directly from the heater. It passes through the heater head, and then through the herb. And then conduction will happen if you use one of the metal bowls that I have there. The titanium allows for a little bit more of an even heat up throughout, and quicker, more milky extraction. So it's one of those things that this is why I'm wanting to do dab bars and educational events.
Yeah, these seem like more high end than, I mean, these do look like this is another dry herb one, right?
That's the wireless version of, so it's very similar to the Ruby Twist, except it's
wireless.
In the coil. Yeah, it does not have the wire connected to the heater, so you can lift that heater up and set it on your bowl.
Right.
And walk around with it freely as you'd like, without the cord attached. And it's got a little bit more flexibility in that sense, and a bit different of an extraction overall.
So, and I like what you said, because that's one thing that stops me from some dry vaping herb is I don't get that throaty feeling. I like that feeling when you smoke a joint.
I mean, full disclosure, I completely stopped consuming flower entirely for years. I mean, probably a decade after I got in trouble, because I was making dabs myself at the time, and I'd like that flavor, and I'd go back to combustion with a joint or a friend. And that throat feel always was strong, and I liked it, but I didn't like the taste. And so I would try different vaporizers. They always had this sort of popcorn taste, or just didn't.
Yeah, just very light.
Just light, and didn't really hit me. And so I just gave up. And I tried a different brand, a really expensive version of what I have here, probably 2-3 times as much. And I said, man, this is the most amazing experience I've had with cannabis in a long time. I want to find out how these work and eventually, work with the supplier to get one produced. These existing designs are from a manufacturer in China that I work with, and we're going to make a secondary follow-up design to this. It'll be exclusive to my offerings. These two are sold by a few different retailers online as well, but as far as packaging and how I bundled and curated the kit, it's entirely different.
Wow, this is great. Like I said, I've seen a lot of dry herb babes. I've had quite a few different ones, but this one looks more high end, reasonably priced compared to what other ones I've seen. Yeah, and if you get that kind of hit, it's worth trying. I mean, now so you sell these online, right?
I sell them online. I do have them in a few different stores, dispensaries right now, and vape shops. Actually, the vape shops I have them in are down in Alabama currently. Oh, wow. They've got a couple of my dry herb and concentrate and devices and accessories. And then I've got them in a local Michigan dispensary, Native Michigan Remedies and Niles Micro Business. They've got several of my products as well. And then I'm working on a deal with the Consumption Lounge to get to be the primary device that their events utilize. I think they use a Volcano currently, but I went there and tested this out with them, and they were blown away by the experience, which is generally the case for most people that try it. There's not many people that try a ball vape and are put away by it. They generally are like, what is that? I can't believe I can taste this flower this way, and I can't believe I feel like I just hit a bong rip.
Right.
But I didn't.
And we've talked about that. Like I default to bongs, and so this is because I said exactly what you're saying. I'm like, I don't really like the pens. It doesn't. Honestly, I'll suck on it for so long because I don't even feel the smoke, and then you're dying because you have like liquid in your throat, and
like super hot or just too much because you're just trying to feel it.
Yeah, no, I love this so much.
Yeah. And that's the same way with my concentrate device here. This little guy is the pocket rocket.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
This is basically the flagship concentrate device that can be utilized in all sorts of manners. You can, you got your cup here, similar to kind of like a Pupco, but I can put this on a banger and put it on a rig. I can just hit it dry, like the new Pupco pivot and all of the new handheld devices. Or you can
Look at that.
use water cooling. So it's a really cool device. I think this one, and this is kind of I wouldn't call it a beta. I wouldn't really call it a prototype. I've utilized this for years now, but really came out with this to get people into more full power dabs in their pocket.
Carry with you, right?
Yeah, the one thing, because this is a full power D-nail, in my opinion, it's fully tuned, heat controlled. You can go without heat control if you want. If you just want to ramp up your temperature and get a really crazy hit, you can, or you can go and lock it into temp control. But I think it's definitely one of those things that you also have to try to believe it, to believe that it's really like a torch and banger dab. Most people.
Wow, look at that. It looks real nice.
Most people don't believe that it's a real torch and banger style dab. And I think that's the one thing I try to get across is you've got to try it. Hitting it dry is great. You're going to get a great hit and dab. But I always recommend trying it, like a traditional dab, like with a banger. And what we have is something called a bottomless banger. Just doesn't have a bottom. It fits over the top of that. And you take that cap off and you just slide it over the top. And then you set your cap on it after you set your dab down. You proceed to hit it just like a regular dab. You fire it up, you get it up to temperature, and you drop it down like you would on an e-nail coil, and you put your cap on and you hit it. And you'll see amazing vapor and great flavor, just like you would on a quartz banger.
So you got some really innovative stuff here. That's great.
We're trying to get through, obviously the e-commerce side, but also wholesale and a number of different stores and, through the events and, the dab bar, co-marketing, working with different, vendors, cultivators, processors, just trying to get our name out there, and, get these products in people's hands so that they can see that there are alternatives to maybe the higher priced products in the industry. And something in the middle range, not cheap, not too expensive, but just right in the value-oriented market. And I think we've got that right here.
Yeah, you do. So definitely, let's give out your socials, your website. We're almost out of time, but I want to thank you for coming on today again. Thank you for your service. Great, happy Veterans Day. But let's give out all your socials and stuff. How can people reach you? This thing looks great. Order it online. Do whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. Today, actually, I'm running a deal on that pocket rocket. So it's $108 if you use Think of Vet 20. You get a nice little 20% off the pocket rocket dab pin bundle. So that's going to get you everything you need to get going. My Instagram is at the Dab Hut. I've got Reddit, so you can find me on subreddit, the Dab Hut as well. X, everything that I've got as far as socials is either at the Dab Hut or at Dab Hut.
All right. At Dab Hut or at the Dab Hut, and your website is thedabhut.com.
That's correct. That's right. Pretty easy to find me. You can look me up obviously on any of those social channels, Reddit as well. And then I'm also on Discord. So we have a Discord server that's active for those people that like to engage, talk about upcoming things, get exclusive deals, that sort of thing. I do a lot on Discord with my group. We try to just create an engaged, active community there. And that's where we primarily do most of our engagement.
Oh, okay, great. Well, that's great. So you're all over the place. And I want to thank you again for coming on. Please support. We got to get you down to Connecticut to one of our events.
Absolutely.
You have one coming up in February, a big one. So maybe you want to come on down and display there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so great. So Chuck, thanks for coming on. Kristen, any last words?
Chuck, great to see your face again, and thank you so much. No,
Thanks,
everyone have a great
Kristen.
week.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, Uncle Lou.
You know, we love you guys, and as long as everybody remembers to smoke up, toke up, and do the right thing for life, I just want everybody to stay happy, healthy, and high.
All right. And of course, Harry, hit that music. Thanks again for joining us today. You can follow me at Joe the Weed Guy. You can follow us at Greenhaven Media or at Cannabis Corner Radio on Facebook. Harry, hit that music. We're ready to go. All right. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming. We'll see you all next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.